Welcome. Let's get started when you're all ready.
We're ready.
We're
Let's
ready.
start.
We're ready.
Yeah.
Oh, we're ready, all right. You need to roll video? Okay, great. So, welcome everyone to the Law Committee for March 29th, 2023. Happy spring. Want to take the roll?
Sure, Madam Chairwoman. Ms. Platsky,
Present?
Cunningham,
Here.
Bergdorf,
Here.
Feeney,
Here.
Kuhn,
Here.
Mayo,
Here.
Peter,
Here.
Ricard,
Present.
and Whalen.
Here.
All 9 present, Madam Chairwoman.
That's great. Nice to be all to be here. It's going to be a quick agenda. Okay, so items 2 and 3 and 5 are tabled at the request of sponsor. Oh, sorry, we need to approve the previous minutes. Thank you,
moved.
Dennis. Thank you, Joanne. All in favor of the minutes?
Aye.
Thank you. Minutes approved unanimously. All right. 2, 3, and 5 are tabled at request of sponsor. Item 4, local law J, has been withdrawn. Item 6 is the State Liquor Authority resolution.
Yeah. This is just asking the State Liquor Authority to allow liquor stores in Albany County to stay open until 11 o'clock around the holiday season. The dates are November 15th to January 7th. And ultimately, they decide whether this is something that they're going to allow us to do after conducting the public hearing. But there's other counties in New York State that already allow this. Actually, they stay open until 12, and it's year-round. But we're just restricting it to the holiday season, and we're keeping it at 11 o'clock.
Okay, any questions? Yes, Ms.
Do we have the authority to extend it to year-round?
We would.
So why wouldn't we?
Well, when I talked to a lot of liquor stores owners, they thought that that was the time of year that it would make sense. So they didn't. A lot of them didn't want to do it year-round, but that time of year they're very busy, and it just made sense to them to do it. You know, we can if something that they push for and we want to extend it year-round. You
So
know,
what
I don't
time?
have a problem with that, but that was the feedback I got.
What time do they close now? At 10?
9 o'clock.
And they open at what time?
They open it, depending,
Yeah.
Except for
Yeah.
Sundays, right?
Yeah, except for Sundays, which are different.
What time is it on Sundays?
Noon is the start time. I don't know the end time, but it's earlier than 9. It might be 6.
I think it's 6.
yeah.
I don't know why we wouldn't just extend it and let them decide. I mean, it's good for businesses, right? No,
Well,
it's not good.
I think it would cut both ways, Mr. Peter.
So I spoke to the local wine store by me, which has a lot of foot traffic, does a lot of things like that. They didn't really want it all around, and they said they're actually like, there are some liquor stores that it could be very bad, right? Like that, like people would try to buy liquor and stuff all night. It's not necessarily for gifts and stuff, but the holiday season specifically is a high volume time when people are getting gifts, time to wrap things up, people are going to holiday parties, things like that. So that'd be beneficial, but I think there's a lot, if we wanted to do it, 364, 365, like, yes, that would be a larger conversation though, because I think there's a larger set of pro and cons, especially in very walkable neighborhoods and areas like that, where, there are certain restrictions and things like that for a reason.
Feedback I got was
Like
they
noise.
wanted to do it holiday.
All
I didn't really get any feedback from anybody that wanted to do it year-round at this point.
does this mean they can deliver up until 11 o'clock at night?
DoorDash.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Good
Paul
thing.
likes that.
It's a good, could be a good thing in emergency.
Yeah, so if you have a party on a Sunday evening.
Yeah.
What about
Running low.
Sunday?
Yeah.
Sundays, is it earlier also?
Sundays we can't change
We can't change
per the
Sunday.
state law.
No.
Oh, okay, this is not Sundays, this is for regular.
Sundays are restricted.
Okay.
This battle went on about 10 years ago, I think 10, 12 years ago. And I remember because I have 2 liquor store owners, small in the districts, and they didn't want it year-round because it was a real disadvantage. They couldn't hire people to run the store, and they thought it was just too much of an advantage for the big operators. So, but I
Yeah,
think
'cause
they voted for this.
Yeah.
You know, the large outfits would have enough personnel to cover it, and the 1 and 2 employee ones, they'd be the ones staying.
And it's optional too.
Yeah.
Nobody has to do it.
It does seem weird to me, like, why wouldn't we let just businesses decide if they want to stay
Yep.
open longer? They don't want to, or they can't staff it,
It's up to them, right?
you know?
Any other discussion, thoughts?
No.
Okay. Yes, Mr. Peter?
I make a motion to move this if there are no more discussion points.
Thank you. Is there a second? Thank you, Mr. Mayor. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Great, thank you so much. Passes unanimously. Item 7 is the public hearing on the tax exemption for firefighters and legislator Feeney.
Yeah, this is the public hearing on our local law that's gonna allow tax exemption for volunteer firefighters and ambulance personnel too, correct? 10%. And there's been some changes in the text, I think, if you look at it, they're in bold, correct?
Yep, it's oddly not on the one, it's not on the PDF version, but if you hit like legislative text, it pulls up, it's a Granicus quirk that we discovered earlier.
Okay.
So if you hit legislative
I have the
text,
full quirk. I've got it on, I've got the changes on public safety.
Oh, that's
And
fine.
I don't have them on
On
law,
law.
which I turned in my computer
Mhm.
tonight to the council's office, and they can figure out what's wrong.
yeah, we'll try to figure it out with
Yeah.
Granicus, it's
But
ongoing
you
issues,
know,
but,
I understand it's consistent with
Mm.
what is on public safety. Bill doesn't have it either, so.
okay. Well, the changes essentially just make it ever so slightly more clear that you have to be an active volunteer, either firefighter or ambulance service worker, in order to get the exemption. Basically, how it works is if you are certified active and you have been active for 2 years, you can get the exemption, a 10% exemption for the period of time in which you were certified active by your agency. If you die in the line of duty and you have already been, the firefighter, of course, has already been serving for 5 or more years, their surviving spouse gets it for the extent of their lifetime. Or if you have 20 years of service in as an active firefighter or EMS worker, you can also get lifetime exemption.
Any questions for Mr. Peter?
Did you say after 5 years?
That's only for the death benefit for a surviving spouse if you die in the line of duty, I believe.
Well, if somebody
And
dies.
that's
in the
guided
line-
by state law, so I don't believe we can go beyond that.
Okay, 'cause I was just gonna say, if someone dies in the line of duty,
Mhm.
my God, even if they've served for 1 year,
Mhm.
we should give them whatever benefits we can.
Yeah, this is essentially an opt-in that we can do. It was
Oh.
created entirely by state law. So we're allowed to opt into it, but we can't really expand anything. The language, if you can look around at all the language that's being adopted in municipalities throughout the state, it's almost all exactly the same, some of it with fun errors, but we fixed that for ours. So the language is pretty much the same from municipality to municipality.
Okay.
It's to try to help recruit.
Yes,
If they're having a really difficult time.
Yes,
you know,
for volunteers especially.
Mr. Berger?
Madam Chair, I believe, kudos to the county executive and everybody in the legislature who's sponsoring this. In our town, we have a total of 12 fire departments and/or fire protection districts. And, some of them actually have 1 or 2 paid attendants, who are there during the day. Everything else is volunteer. So anything that we can do to help recruit or maintain real active firefighters, we're going to be paid back by saving millions of dollars or having to go to a paid fire system. So I look at this as a huge win, both for recognizing volunteer firefighters and EMS personnel, and the taxpayers of our town, who ultimately are going to have an avoided cost at the end. So I'm really gratified to be a part of this.
That's great. Sounds good. Mr. Peter?
Well, the city of Albany does have a paid fire department, things of that nature. I think long-term, there'll probably have to be more of a paid system in the suburbs just because the volunteer system is gradually having trouble to recruit. I think anything we can do to stave that off as long as possible until modeling can better do that if that's needed in the future is a positive, especially when it comes to mutual aid, things like that. We're all safer for a fully functional system. So, even though the city of Albany has a paid one, I'll be fully supporting this. I think it's a good bill.
I'm gonna put in a plug for the Nesquithop Volunteer Fire Department. They're growing, they get young recruits, they're got great pancake breakfast, so, yeah, it's a very vibrant.
Turkey Rock.
Fire department. Yep. So, is there a motion?
Motion.
Thank you, Mr. Peters. Second, Mr. Bergdorf, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Agreed. This is up for the public hearing, this passes unanimously, and then 8 for the law itself is tabled pending public hearing. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Thank you, Mr. Peter, thank you, Mr. Feeny, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Great, thank you, everybody. Have a nice evening.